Joining me now is documentary filmmaker and commentator Ami Horowitz. Ami, we have a lot of ground to cover across the world, but I'm going to start in the US, and the Trump administration is not just targeting illegal immigration, but it's reviewing migrant programs, with the president announcing a permanent pause on third world migration. It's clear Donald Trump has had enough.
The welfare is like 88%. They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you, okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks. These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing. You know, they came from paradise, and they said, this isn't paradise. But when they come from hell, and they complain and do nothing but bitch, we don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it.
Ami, the president argues that America is at a tipping point and cannot afford, both economically and culturally, to have people coming in massive numbers who have no affinity with the country.
Yeah, look, I don't necessarily love the way he delivered that message, right? Didn't really in Trumpian way, but it's kind of hard to disagree with a lot of the sentiment that he said. A lot of what he said is true. And particularly when we're talking about the Somalian immigrants, I think who he was referring to specifically. Yeah, there are issues with them, and we have to be real about them. Look, the Somalians, they have a much lower level of English penetration, right? Just walk around the streets of Minneapolis as I have, and you will find that out. They have much lower education levels than we do. That's just, and basically much lower education than almost every other immigrant coming into this country. They have much higher dependency on welfare benefits. In fact, long-term dependency. They have higher unemployment rates. There's more Islamic fundamentalism. And oh, by the way, Somali immigrants outperformed in terms of the kids they sent to fight for ISIS. Yeah, that's a problem, okay? Higher than any other immigrant group. And of course, they have a very negative view. Even though they take advantage of all the systems we have here, they still have among the highest negative views on America, higher than any other African group in particular. So this is not really about race or continent. In fact, one of the most successful subgroups of immigrants coming here are Nigerians. Incredibly successful. They know what they're leaving, and they appreciate what they're coming to. So yeah, it bothers the president and it bothers me when people come here and don't. Look, we guarantee opportunity here. We just don't guarantee success. I'm sorry. It's the nature of what we do here. You have to pursue education. You have to fundamentally train your children to love the country that's embracing you. So yeah, I'm sorry if the truth is we should be vetting certain immigrants more than others. And for example, we should vet Somalian immigrants more than we do, let's say, Korean or Canadian. That just makes sense. Don't love the way he delivered that, but a lot of it's just simply true.
Now, Ami, you were in Minneapolis a few years ago to speak to members of the Somalian community about their attitude to America, and you asked, do they prefer living under American law or Sharia law?
Sharia law. I'm a Muslim. I prefer Sharia law. Sharia law, yes.
You prefer Sharia law over American law?
Of course, yeah. Of course, yeah.
And do you find most of your friends feel the same way?
Yeah, of course. If you're Muslim, yeah.
Is it right to kill somebody who insults Muhammad?
Yeah, because she is just, she hid the religion, I understand. But she shouldn't pick up the prophet, you know?
So you understand why people would want to attack her?
Yeah.
If you had a choice, would you rather live here or would you rather live in a Muslim country?
I'd rather live in a Muslim country with my people.
Would you prefer to live in America or prefer to live in Somalia?
For me, I think it's Somalia.
I would rather live in Somalia.
I'm not Americanized. I just speak fluent, and you know what I mean? I'm articulate, and I can articulate what I'm trying to say, you know what I mean? That's about it. But other than that, I mean, as far as my culture and my preferences and everything, it's still Somali, you know what I mean?
Ami, how widespread was that sentiment among those you spoke to?
Incredibly widespread. It was almost every single person I spoke to. And by the way, most of the people I approached didn't speak English, as I said before. No, look, these views are antithetical to liberal democracies in general, and this country in particular. And that one kid, that one younger black kid who had the Brooklyn Nets hat on, really kind of highlighted how interesting and disturbing it was. And he said it that look, you look at me, you see a regular American kid, right? Look like a regular American black kid, but I'm not. He goes, yeah, I front that way, but in reality, I am not fundamentally American. I am fundamentally Somalian. He was born here in the U.S. I remember that kid. It was a while ago, but I found that conversation so striking. Yes, it's incredibly problematic, and I don't think it's wrong or racist to call out the truth. Sorry.
Now, we'll get back to US issues shortly, but let's see what's happening in Italy, where Greta Thunberg and the UN's Francesca Albanese are leading rallies around the country. And after getting herself banned from Venice for dyeing the Grand Canal green, Greta Thunberg had this to say to activists in Rome.
I could tell you all in detail exactly how physically repulsed I feel and how heartbroken I feel every time I think about the war criminals in charge, including your fascist government.
It's rather rude. Thunberg also said that Italy is one of the most complicit countries when it comes to financial, military and political support to Israel, while Israel, according to her, conducting massacres, ecocide and genocide.
Oh, really? You learn something new every day. Okay, let's go. Look, she's such a potty mouth. Okay, and I call her stupid little girl, but that little gremlin is 21 years old. She should know better at this point. I gotta be honest. She's such a caricature that I'm not 100% sure this isn't some kind of long con. Okay, she is such a joke. And by the way, when she was banned from Venice because she was pouring green dye into the canal. Shockingly, the fine for that is only 150 euros. That seems a little bit low for two. Yes, I found that fascinating. Okay. First of all, she talked about that how complicit Italy is in Israel's genocide. Well, okay. The facts is that Italy buys no weapons from Israel. And Israel buys, I think, 1% of their defense budget goes to Italian weapons. Actually, I spent more on Italian weapons in 2025 than the state of Israel do. Yeah, I'm partial to the Beretta. So do not come to the Horowitz household, people, okay? Or you'll find some fine Italian weaponry in your face. Ecocide, really? Israel is one of the leaders when it comes to agricultural sustainability, when it comes to clean tech, when it comes to solar technology. Okay, this is actually where Israel excels. So I don't know what ecocide she's talking about, but yeah, she got it wrong on every single front. That's not shocking. Not a newsflash, Rita.
No, this is what we expect from Greta, and she's pivoting from climate change alarmism to anti-Israeli protests daily almost. So she's covering a lot of ground. Before you go, there's a bold new policy that's been announced, the introduction of Trump accounts, where every newborn is going to get $1,000 in an account that will be invested in select stocks and ETFs. This is going to be for newborns that are born between 2025 and 2028. Let's hear from Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent.
It is the merging of President Trump's agenda of parallel prosperity, Main Street meets Wall Street. For the next 5 years, every child born in the U.S. will get a $1,000 Trump account that will be with them and compound for the next 18 years. Treasury Department with other branches of government is going to do financial literacy, and we are going to make sure that all American families have a stake in the success of the United States of America.
Ami, I suspect you're not a fan of this new plan. What do you think?
I don't know. I think I take offense to that. What do you, Rita? Come on.
I don't know. I just had this feeling.
No, I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. Particularly, there's a lot of money coming from donations, and the Dell Foundation has given billions of dollars toward it. No, I'm all for it. And again, I was told there'd be no math on this interview, but yet I'm forced to do some math. If you at birth was given a $1,000 account and it was put in the S&P 500, S&P 500 over the last 50 years returned 10.5%. So if that $1,000 was kept in the account, compounding every year, and even after 18, if you continued reinvesting it in the S&P 500, that $1,000 when you were born by retirement age will come up to over $675,000 upon retirement.
Wow.
So that is real money for people. By the way, it shows you the brilliance of compound investing and capitalism. So there you go.
It does. And you mentioned the Dells there. The couple were there standing with President Trump. They've donated $6.5 billion to this. So it's just incredibly generous. Ami Horowitz, thank you so much for your time.
Always a pleasure.